Yeah.
All right. So we did our presentation on credit and debt. I'm Jeff, and this is Frankie. Okay, so we covered some vocabulary words that we thought that were the most important in this chapter. We'll just go down the line here. We have personal finance, which covers spending, saving, investing, stuff like that. We have the values, which guide the behavior. We have attitude, which are the likes and dislikes. And we have decision making, which is pretty self-explanatory. We have fixed expenses, which basically covers the rent and expenses like that. Let's see. We have excise tax, which is collected by manufacturer of a product. And some of the key ones we have down here are tax avoidance, which are legal money management strategies to reduce one's taxes through such investment as tax-deferred individual retirement accounts. We have tax evasion, which is illegal, which is something you shouldn't be doing. And we have time deposit, which are safe ways to store money from 7 days to 7 years.
The ones you really want to focus on are personal finance, fixed expenses, and variable expenses, because that's basically what we've been talking about the last month or so. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind. Okay, who here has a debit card? Who has a credit card? Does anybody know the difference?
Debit card is you're paying with your own money, but a credit card is you're paying with something, but you got to pay that money back with interest.
There you go. Basically, debit card, you have instant access to like your for me, it's like my checking account, or in some cases my parents' checking account, depending on what it is. And then credit card is just like you have to you can get up to like a certain amount. Sometimes like some people it's like $500, some people it's less than that, depending on your credit score, which we'll get into later. And then I have to pay it back in a certain amount of time. Very rarely do I ever use credit, just because I don't really need to. At this point, I'm not going out and buying TVs like it's my job, but stuff like that.
Okay, so we'll get started with talking about credit score. How many of you have heard of credit score before? Yeah, it's pretty important stuff.
Has anyone ever calculated their credit score other than?
We'll get there.
Okay.
But we'll start off with the question, is this you? Which is probably not very many people, since just maybe Andy would. This will work.
It's just the internet seems to be taking forever today. Is it with you guys too?
Yeah, mine was earlier.
You have it on
It's working.
Chrome or, okay.
That's working, it's just...
I might switch to Chrome here in a minute.
Before we see if your investments are on track, why don't you tell me about your retirement plans?
We're just gonna relax, kick it back. Yeah. Stay at home, read the newspaper, go fishing, putt around the garden. Mostly, I'm just looking forward to spending every waking moment together. It's gonna be great, isn't it, Nancy?
Yes, dear. You should.
Whatever your investment goals were, you're screwed. You're poorer than you think. This message brought to you by the Toronto Stock Exchange.
So that's a funny little clip. Obviously, not everybody's going to be in a financial situation, but if that's the case, who wants to share what it means to have a credit score? Anybody? What exactly, how does that all work?
No one knows. Okay.
I mean, I don't know how it works, but I know it makes it like if the higher your credit score is, the easier it is to get a loan and stuff like that.
The lower interest rate you get to, the higher the credit score you have.
There you go. Basically, credit score will dictate like how much interest and stuff like you said you can pay back, how much they'll give you too, because they're not going to give somebody with a really bad credit score a ton of money. So you have to basically keep your credit score like, it doesn't have to be like perfectly high, but it has to be high enough to where you can get what you need to get.
And one of the ideas of credit score is the idea of borrowing, which I found this website to be very interesting. Some key facts here. A lot of people have been borrowing money to pay off their credit card bills. So if this might work here.
Try going, yeah.
It froze.
Did it?
It was scared.
Quick escape.
I would try Chrome. We've had so much trouble with Internet Explorer.
It's on the land, juices and one.
Maybe no.
Browser they use.
Working now. Maybe. All right. So yeah, it's just talking about the U.S. consumer borrowing from May, and one of the key stats that I wanted to show you guys is that according to reports, this is a little bit dated, but it's something to keep in mind. The total amount of borrowing has reached a total of $2.84 trillion. So what that basically means is we're basically borrowing a lot more money than we can actually kind of afford. Credit card borrowing can help boost. The idea of borrowing credit card money helps boost consumer spending. They said, according to that, about 70% of economic activity comes from that. And it adds about 195,000 jobs in June. And the pay has risen 2.2%, so some ideas like that. So basically the borrowing is a real issue when it comes to credit cards.
They basically let you borrow as much as you want, and then when you start to pay it back, like you realize how screwed you are, so you go and borrow more. It's just like it adds on to the fact. So basically, there's not like money that doesn't exist, but there's like money that shouldn't exist. Does that make sense?
And then just a resource that we found that was interesting. It's kind of a resource. So if you have trouble with managing your debt, there's some websites that you can find online. Like this one here, Suze Orman, she's got all these specific counseling centers and like somebody's got denied credit or how to get your FICO score, the best credit card rates. So anybody who ever has issues with that, there's lots of sites and lots of people that can help with those kind of things.
Has anybody ever seen Susie Orman's show? Have I seen it? Basically, like her show, it's like geared basically helps you stay financially stable. We had like a full episode clip, but that was like 45 minutes long. Like cutting it wouldn't have made sense, but basically in the episode she talked about how college kids, basically we shouldn't have credit cards, it should be all debit for us, and then like later on, like as you get older, you have like a full-time job, like you don't have kids necessarily, and then it'd be easier for you to have a credit card, because you have to get a credit score at some point. But at this point in your life, you're basically trying to focus on paying things off that you can pay off, like paying rent, paying like bills. That's fine. You don't necessarily have to pay tuition off. So just keep that in mind too. And then the impact of a credit score, it can influence a lender's decision to grant credit, and it can affect consumer's ability to get a job even, rent an apartment, or buy a car or home. Also, your insurance can kind of factor into that too. Having a higher credit score can improve the likelihood that you'll get a loan granted to you, and can lower the interest rates that consumers can receive on their loans. So basically, like if you have a really good credit score, like you're set. If you have a really crappy credit score, they're just going to basically like turn you away at the door. Like there are places like my parents have like decent credit from what I've been told. I don't like to ask them about it, but like when we first got our house, like we got denied on a loan because they thought my dad had a bad credit score. He doesn't, but you know, it's just like scary. Like you think you're gonna have a house for your kids and you don't, so you gotta make sure you keep on it like all the time.
So going back to credit score, people have seen those websites and those TV commercials with, I want my free credit score and all that stuff. One of the websites we pulled up here was the Credit Karma. People have probably already seen on computers and TVs. People go on there, they assume that they're going to get their free credit score, which is something to keep in mind, truly free. We could go through that, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Some of the issues with these websites and other things that advertisements may get you is the fact that most of these websites and commercials
one day
say that they're free, but they're not exactly free. This little video here will kind of explain my point.
Laura called the number for annualcreditreport.com. She wanted to check her credit, and she knew their credit reports were really free. 2 weeks weeks later, Laura got her free report in the mail. That same day, her husband Tony saw an ad for a free credit score. He went online to get his free score. He thought it was cool to know his number. He figured it would tell him whether he had good or bad credit. But Laura was happy to know that the information in her report was right, and that it said she paid her bills on time. Tony still thought he got the better deal. Sure, Laura could see her credit information, but he knew his score, and it was free. But a month later, Tony changed his mind. His credit card bill had a strange charge for a credit monitoring service. It turns out his free score signed him up to pay $29.99 a month for credit monitoring. He got his credit card to cancel the charge, but Tony didn't think he got the better deal anymore.
So basically you got to be careful with those little additional fees, because a lot of sites will tell you that they're free and they're going to give you a free score, but they actually have those hidden charges. So websites like Credit Karma and Free Credit Score or anything like that, those are really, those are some websites to keep in mind if you're looking for a free credit. And we have here how to calculate it. It's kind of long, but the most important thing is to pay attention to your payment history, so keeping track of what you spent factors into how you get your FICO score. If you want a high score, the first piece of advice is to pay your debts on time, so making sure you're up to date with all the charges. Second factor is determining how close you are to the limits of your credit card. So if you're getting towards the end of your credit cards and the limits are a little bit higher than what you expect, it's a good time to pay attention to that, kind of keep up to date with it. And yes.
Alright, a short list on how to increase your credit score. Obviously, like we said, pay bills on time, delinquent payments can have a negative effect on your score. Like basically, like I think it's like 5 or 6 payments like can kill it. And like especially like now for us because we don't have any credit. So basically, you start out low and it takes forever to get it high. It's kind of like when we start out low in GPA, how it takes forever to get it higher, and like sometimes people don't break like a 3 up because they got like a 1 as a freshman, something like that. Not saying I did that, but. And then keep your balances low on your credit cards too. You don't want to have like one day you have like $700 on your credit card and then the next day you have like 20 or something like that. You want to keep it like kind of even. Like you don't want to necessarily always be in debt, but like keep it in like short increments that you can pay off in a certain amount of time plus the interest because that gets added on later on. And then obviously like only apply for new credit cards as you need it. So like you don't have like 5 different cards that you use in rotation. Just have like maybe 1 or 2. And 1 is emergency, 2 is like an emergency, something like that. Just saying, man. And then pay off debt rather than move it around. So don't just like use another credit card to pay off a credit card, and then you have debt on that other credit card plus the interest, and it's a mess. So just stay out of that. Thanks, Ian.
Okay. And run the credit talk.
Oh yeah. In Ohio, the average consumer across the country generally has $47,500 in debt, such as mortgages, auto loans, student loans, and credit card debt. Ohioans have a significantly less debt overall. Ohio only has about $35,000 in debt per person, 26% lower than the national average. And Ohioans have, on average, $22,200 in mortgage debt, which is 35% lower than the national average of 34%. So basically, Ohioans seem to be in pretty good shape, but we're not actually the lowest state. It was like Rhode Island was like, they're really low, but they don't have like 30 people over there. So
Okay, that's before. And so does anybody have any ideas how we can fix that with the whole, with the debts in Ohio? Anybody have any ideas, any solutions? No? Frankie made a good point when we were talking about it earlier. He mentioned, what was that about the credit cards at stores, Frankie?
yeah, it's like now they have this option when you pay for stuff, like your credit card will only cover you for so much, and like you can preset it. And then like, cause I share an account with my mom, so if I go and buy something using the credit card, which I mean I've only done it once, and it was for like, I think I needed gas or something, but it'll like check with you, and it'll be like, hey, are you sure you want to do this? Like basically trying to talk you out of it, but it helps. Like it makes sense because it was like, hey, you sure you want to spend like $56 on gas? I was like, yeah, that's a reasonable purchase, like it, stuff like that. So it kind of helps you out with that. And then too, like I know a lot of companies now they like when you first sign up for it, like because they don't want to have you be in debt with them because that makes you feel bad. So they'll have somebody sit down and talk you out, like not talk you out, like talk you through it and things like that, like making sure like you know what a responsible purchase is, things like that.
I was gonna say, you were talking about like reducing debt. A lot of times, like I'll do that. Like if I spend something on a credit card, like especially a store credit card, because those are worse to have.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like if you use it, you can. I'll ask them if I know I have the money in the account, but you can get like a bigger discount. You can pay. You can charge it on your card, but then use like your debit card or write a check or whatever there at the register and make that payment to the card for what you just bought. That way you get the discount.
You're talking about Kohl's card and stuff like that?
Or like Gilmer Reese's, like a store,
Yeah.
card. That way you can get it and you can get the discount, but then you don't have time to have the interest charged to you.
Yeah, I guess like too, you can kind of build your credit. You can kind of build your credit up using those. It's just like we didn't. Some of the statistics were kind of misleading. It was like some people can, but some people can't. It really just depends on how often you pay it back. Because like my mom has a Kohl's card that I use, and like she pays it off, but technically my name's on it, so it's helping me gain some sort of credit. Because she just pays it off like every Monday or whatever, or like the Monday afterwards. So it's pretty simple like that.
I know exactly where you're coming from because I'm always working registers at Kohl's, and I always have a lot of customers come in, buy something on their Kohl's card because they could get 15%, 20% off, and then they pay by either using check or cash right afterwards, so that way they can still get the deal and pay off their bill. So smart. Yeah.
Do yourself
Store cards. Do you know what happens when you apply for those?
Don't they check your credit?
Oh yeah.
They go through a bunch of like, I know personally they go through a lot of, make sure like what's the income that you're bringing in, something about family, like.
It's like family history of spend, like, so basically, it's like sometimes when you apply for job asks too, it's like, has anyone in your family ever like declared bankruptcy? Like that was like the third question on there, because like when I got my name put on there, I had to fill all that out, even though like it wasn't actually my card. It was just so I could start building my own credit. And like usually companies like Kohl's, Sears, and to some extent like JCPenney, you're kind of weird about it, but like they'll let like kids sign on with their parents to help them gain credit, so that way when they turn like when I turn 21 or whatever, I'll have my own, different things like that. So it's pretty.
The retailers that have their own credit cards do so because they make good money with it. And so you guys probably get hit a lot with like American Eagle or Buckle or I'm trying to think, any of the clothing stores. Yeah, they all want you to sign up and they'll give you an extra discount.
Oh yeah.
And when my kids were teenagers, when my daughter was a teenager, I said, go ahead and sign up. And she goes, well, you won't let me do that, Mom. And I said, of course I will. You go ahead and sign up. Let's see how it affects your credit score. She goes, I don't have a credit score. And I said, you will. And every time you sign up for one of those, and your credit, they ask for your credit, they check your credit, it hits, and it lowers your credit score. And it takes a while to build it back. So now I've noticed when I go shopping with the kids, somebody will say, would you like to sign up for it? No, it's going to ruin my credit score. I mean, they almost yell at the clerks, no. And I think, good. I don't want them to be rude, but I don't want them to sign up for a credit card.
Yeah, that's how it was when I signed up. I worked at JCPenney for like 2 years in high school, and like you have to ask that question at the register. Like make sure you like say, did you ask that question or something? Like, most of the time I wouldn't ask it, but if it was somebody that actually didn't have the card, or like someone that came in the store all the time and never had gotten one, I would ask it. I would always get that. They're like, no, it's gonna ruin my credit score. I'm like, all right. Well, I didn't really understand it at the time, but now I understand it to the point where like I wouldn't ask like certain people. But like, there are people that would come in and spend like $600 and stuff. You get like a $200 discount.
That's what they do at Kohl's too. Open up those Kohl's cards, get 15%, and then you get out extra charges. And when you sign up, you get emails, and they'll send emails of percents off that they'll ship to your email addresses. And anyway, to bring people in, and you got to spend a lot of money to get those Kohl's cards.
But if you pay it off every month, this is what I found. I think my Kohl's bill was due yesterday or today. I'm not sure, but I spent some money last week. So on Sunday, I paid it off because that's what I do on Sundays. I pay off whatever charges I made the week before, and I guarantee you, the next flyer I get from Kohl's will be a 30% discount because I'm not making any money for those guys. I don't leave any balance. And it isn't, when you first charge, you don't get charged extra. Once it hits the time to pay it, if you don't pay it on time, then you get charged interest. But, some companies have, I don't know, Andy, does your furniture company have same as cash?
Yeah.
But you have a finance company that does that. Yeah. And as long as you pay it off, we did that when we were first married. We bought furniture and we paid, and I gotta tell you, it was one of the first payments I made in a month, the house payment and the furniture payment. Because the minute I didn't pay that furniture payment on time, my interest rate was like 24% or something. It was just scary as heck.
We had a customer one time that bought, I think it was about $8,000 worth of furniture on a 2-year same as cash financing. And they were going to write their last payment and they owed something 42. And they accidentally wrote their check for something 24, like transposed the numbers wrong. And they were charged 28%. They're not charged what they owe, they're charged from what the beginning transaction was. So they were charged, it was like 28% on $8,000. It was insane. Yeah.
And
of course they weren't mad at the credit company, they were mad at
you guys, yes. Yes. Yeah, so every time if you go to buy a car and you don't buy a car, but you go in there and you let them check your credit, that hits your credit report, your credit score goes down. Every time it touches your credit report, and I'm sure the guys are going to talk about that, your score goes down.
Pretty much.
So yeah, we got a fun little game for you. It's called Countdown to Retirement. Basically goes with the theme of keeping track of money. So basically, you're getting ready to retire. So we're first going to choose a character. So somebody yell me a name here. We got Billy Bob, Carlos.
Carlos.
We're going Carlos? Final answer? Okay, Carlos it is.
I work well with others, as long as others don't mind being lassoed.
Alright, so he's similar to a warehouse manager. His warehouse is the prairie, and his boxes run around. He will sometimes bite and kick. So retire, Carlos needs to rope in the money like he ropes in a herd. But in a cowboy salary, the money's as scarce as flowers on tumbleweed. Alright, so we're choosing this character. We're going to select a home. Are we living with our parents? Are we living in a small house, apartment, or a mansion, guys? Small house?
What did it say his salary was?
$10,000.
$10,000.
Definitely needs to live in a mansion.
Parents.
Definitely. Are we going parents? Thumbs for parents?
He's not gonna live.
Cowboys. I was gonna say at this point.
All right, so
Parents.
Parents. All right, so we'll stay with our parents. We'll save some money that way. So we'll freeload as a long-term strategy for money saving options. There's no investment, but there is no return. There's not very much privacy either. So we're not spending any money. All right, so we need a vehicle.
He's got a horse.
Got a horse. Okay, so for the sake of this, he doesn't have the horse. Because you can't ride you can ride a horse every day, but you're not going to ride a horse every day.
The cowboy's not going to ride any of them cars though.
He'd ride
He's going to have a truck. Where's the truck? Not a luxury SUV. Can't go mudding in that.
All right, so are we going to be cheap and take the bus, or are we going to ride in our jalopy, or a sedan, or a luxury SUV? All right, go public, go home. All right, we'll go public. So it's only $60 a month, so it's not bad for a bus pass. So here we go. Our disposable income is going to be $565, so minus all these costs. So we'll go ahead and play. So we start off with our garbage disposal exploding, and we're down $300. So now you're run over by a sweet sweeper. You go to court, and Shiny Smile gets you $13,000 from the city. So are we throwing $13,000 to our retirement fund, or are we going to pay off our debt?
You made more by
Pay off
Pay off our debt? All of it turns debt?
We should split it up. We got 2,000.
Go jump in the water, shuttle.
Yeah.
Pay it all off.
Pay it all off. All right.
I've always thought about
So we'll go ahead and pay off. seems like the black wool wallpaper would sell well. Do we want to sell the $300 machine that weaves it? Yes? No?
Buy it. Not sell it.
Do we want to buy a $300 machine that weaves?
Yeah.
Yes?
Oh, no, I'm not even pushing it.
No? Save the money or are we buying it? We'll go ahead and...
No.
No?
No.
All right.
No.
That's
kinda,
No.
That lifelong urge to dye your hair blue finally takes over. Blue do or breathtaking.
Or a blue cowboy.
All right.
Those are the parents.
It drives a horse.
Good news.
I'm not a cool cowboy.
Neighbor got their car stuck out in the mud, so you helped her get out. And now you get a $300 check. So where are we putting that money? Paying off debt or putting it towards retirement?
Retirement.
Well, we don't have any debt because you guys did that earlier, so. Oh, we missed the train, so now we're late to work. Oh, it gets worse. $100 fine for public indecity. Oh, neighbor borrowed the TV.
John Voight.
And somebody stole it, so now we have to pay $500 to replace it.
Promotion.
You got a promotion. We're a turtle rustler now.
That's what I'm talking about.
So our salary now is $12,900. So now there's a roping class. It's only $1,000 for the class, but it really helps sharpen our skills. And now you visit some Native American ruins, and they're 1,000 years old, and we could buy a piece of the history for only $800. No. All right.
Is everybody seeing what's going on? Like, is everybody paying attention to the years of retirement thing too?
We're kind of counting down, and we're trying to save as much money as we can.
There you go. And there's like responsible.
I only got
versus
$400
irresponsible.
when I retired.
Keep that in mind.
All right. So let's see here. We can start an organic cotton farm, hire environmentally conscious workers, and sell your product. It's only going to cost, let's see, $12,000, but the payoff could be incredible. So are we going to invest?
Let's do it. We cowboys.
Take a chance. Take a chance. All right. YOLO, as we all say. Oh, pesticides. 8 and 4. Oh, now the coworkers found out we've been living with our parents. Now we're laughing stocks. Oh boy. Hey, there's a building that houses a dry cleaner and a bank. We can merge the two together. A little bit of remodeling. It'd be about $5,000. You gonna do it?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Take a chance.
Take a chance. Hey, we were.
Yeah, it was like just.
Let's do it.
All right, we got some money. Why not? Oh, money laundering. We're getting all right bad here. Oh, money laundering. Super Genius Club is offering his membership. $50, and we're a Super Genius. What are we thinking? Oh, we have to. We're an EMU driver now.
Emu.
Yeah, EMU. So, our salary now is $18,000. So, how about that? Okay, bird is the word. Scientists want several of your emus so they can decipher the complex emu language. You get 50% of whatever profits come in.
That sounds ridiculous.
Let's do it.
You want to do it?
Whatever.
All right. Hey, good news. We can talk to the animals now. We get $1,000. That's $10,000. I'm sorry, $10,000. Oh, that's retirement. All right. We lost our wallet, but we lost it. Or we lost it, but we found it. So now we have $300 more. So we'll add that towards retirement. 20 years till retirement. You find a stray puppy on the street, and he cons you into taking him to the Animal Protection League. You give him $30 to find a new home. You're financially poor, but you feel richer inside. Oh, how cute. All right, reality check. Now we're looking at our finances. Are we upgrading? We're going to get our own apartment now?
I suppose we can move out of our mom's basement now.
Well, I mean, it's much
Always
more
go to a
fun in our basement. We probably move out of the apartment. Are we staying with the bus, or are we going to...
Stay with the bus.
All right, stay with the bus. All right, so there was a talker on the bus, and bored to death, so that wasn't very good. We decided there weren't many holes in your body as you'd like, so we heading over to the tattoo and piercing parlor, and it cost us $50 for another hole. We took advantage of the original resources. We sold our body parts. Plasma was $20, and our organs were $200. So we made about $220 selling our bodies. So
What in the world?
That was legal, though, right?
yeah, it was legal, I swear.
Okay.
All right, we're a kindergarten teacher, so we went from being a cowboy to being a teacher. So.
Really, it's not that different.
No, I guess not. Oh, now we got a $300 receipt for tree holding. I don't know what that means. Shouldn't be eating that much candy, I guess. All right, so here's an idea. Daycare center, funeral home. You get them coming and going. Oh my God. $4,000.
That sounds awesome.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh, for some odd reason, the parents have hang-ups about sending their kids to hang out with a dead body all day.
Oh, come on, the emu thing works.
Neighbor's dogs started seeing other dogs in the neighborhood, so they decided to take the relationship to the next level and get married. So, $120 gift for the 2 dogs. So,
What?
get married. All right, so
What kind of neighbors?
lightning strikes and fries all our phone lines, so it's about $575 we have to pay in damage.
Cell phones.
We pay nothing, so that's always a good thing to keep in mind. All right, so they want us to invest $3,000 on coming up with the idea of the shoplifting store. So customers pay an entry, and then they get to take whatever they want. So it's like a buffet for merchandise. So are we investing in that or no? No?
I need some kind of money.
Your accountant is a genius. You receive $800 from your taxes. How about that? Putting that towards retirement. 10 years till we can be done. Rhino. Now we're a rhino roper.
Hey, we're making big bucks now.
Rhinos. They needed them. So we have to watch out for their sharp horns and their tempers. Alright, so we bought a high-tech video camera for when rhinos attack. It cost us about $10,000, but we could probably sell it for $5.
Hey, we got it. Yes. Heck yeah.
Alright.
Oh, you died.
It's too similar to the when hippos attack, so we lost $10,000. We're taking a walk in the park. A meteor lands next to us, and it's technically part of the city, but you could grab it before anybody notices. Yes? No?
Yeah.
Take it.
Take it?
Take it.
Sell it at the museum. Got $600.
$600.
Add it to our retirement fund. I see. Your hands take a lot of wear and tear. So that's why not treat them as well as your feet at hand shoes. So they have a company called Hand Shoes we can invest in. $10,000, we can buy 1/10 of their company.
No.
That's cheap.
Okay. Lost our transit pass. $40 to get a new one.
We need to get some money in here.
Oh, municipal taxes. An extra $540 because we weren't aware of their first tax return. All right. 5 years till we can retire. Now we're a whale herder. Wow. $53,100. All right. It's Crazy Pete's Discount Bridal Store. Dresses are insane. We could be a major stakeholder in the company just for $5,000. Maybe an insane amount of money.
Yeah.
Taking the money?
Yep.
All right. No brides want to buy a dress from a guy named Pete. Second of all, Pete's crazy and has no management skills. But there's no third of all. You just lost your money. So,
I feel like there's a lot more ballers on this than
Pete just let us all down, guys. Milk tankers.
Oh, off the coast.
We just lost $30,000.
What?
Now they call our neighborhood the Little Kalahari because all the stray cats are running around. So they spared our lives, and we just we have to buy them $120 new clothes. Yeah, I don't know where the cats come from. Duct tape is all the rage.
There's a couple hits right there.
Duct tape fashion, $200 from the mall. Add it to our retirement fund. 1 year left. Complain to the landlord that you found a cockroach in your apartment. Turns around and charges you $100 for having an unauthorized pet in your apartment.
What?
All right, now we're going to retire. Here we go. All right, look at that. Net worth is that, and our currency is that. And we can retire for 10 years, so for being a cowboy, we did pretty well. So, nice job, everybody.
What did you notice as we played the game? Like, what did specifically?
That the money you invested oftentimes hurt you rather than help you.
Anybody notice what we did with the debt in the beginning? How we paid it off and we never had to worry about it? That we gave it away.
Game's over now. Game's over now, Aaron. Don't worry. All right. So, these were just some teacher resources I threw in there last minute. Just some things to keep in mind. Anybody, teachers that want to help their kids kind of understand more about financing, they can go to these websites here. they give you more sample clips and some lessons that you can use to kind of explain more about financial situations and banking and credit and debt. And now it's just a couple more games that you can have your kids play. We could have done that, but our game was more fun. So there's some more fun things to keep in mind that we can use for financial information.
Bless you.
That's all we got. Our citations and also